Welcome to this episode of UMBC's Mic'd Up. My name is Denise Cardona from the Office of Professional Programs. We are joined by a recent graduate of our Learning and Performance Technology graduate program, Shawa Amin. We hope that you enjoy this episode. Welcome to the podcast, Shawa. It's so wonderful to have you here with us today.
The pleasure is mine. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, so you have recently graduated from the Learning and Performance Technology graduate program at UMBC. How does it feel?
Oh, well, it feels awesome.
It's a great feeling. I can just imagine thinking about it for the day next year when I graduate, how wonderful that will feel. It's a great accomplishment, Shawa.
It is, and especially when you are a fully, you're working full time and you have your hands full. I'm a full time mom as well. I have 3 boys, so I do have. So it was quite an achievement for me. I challenged myself, and I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, well, we had a number of classes together, technology classes, and I thoroughly enjoyed being in class with you. I learned a lot from you, and I think we learned a lot from our fellow peers. It's set up in such a wonderful way to be able to interact with our peers on a weekly basis when we get together with our synchronous class to learn how to use technology. And I really enjoyed that class probably the most, those classes, I should say. And I just want to hear a little bit from you about yourself in terms of your professional endeavors and your educational journey that brought you first to UMBC, and secondly, second part of that question, why the Learning and Performance Technology?
Well, that's a good question. So I enjoyed most of the aspects of the program that you were just talking about. I've learned a lot from the professors as well as my peers, because we all come with different backgrounds, different even age groups. So our interests are different, and specializations are different. So we get the way the program is set up allows us to interact more with each other, know about each other, and benefit from each other's, experiences and backgrounds, which was really helpful. The setup of the program itself as online was a kind of things that challenged me, because I haven't done any, fully online classes before, but it turned out to be the best. When I started, it wasn't COVID. But then, we were prepared. We were one of the very fewest to be prepared for the lockdown, for staying. And I ended up taking full time with my job because of COVID. So I ended up this program to be a COVID blessing at the end, which is neat. So for my professional development, why I chose this program, it was kind of to link both backgrounds. I have a background of management, and that I've worked with for years. And then when I moved to the United States, 10 or 11 years ago, I worked as academic advisor. So I was working on the higher education, and this program seemed to be the perfect, link to get both, both backgrounds, put everything together. Plus, my job has a lot of advising and coaching. And so, instructional design fell about the right spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's, instructional design, the whole field encompasses so many things. It's such a wide field, and you can take any aspect of instructional design and run with it. And so for you, academic advising, coaching, counseling, things of that sort, that plays right into working within the environment with SMEs, with subject matter experts, with learning how to talk with people, to perform deep analysis on certain projects that you might do.
Education management in general. Management in general is really, instructional design was totally about it. I've learned a lot, whether through the adult learning theories, the analysis. The part that really attracted me is when we dig with data collection tools, how we analyze it, how we just work like reverse osmosis. We just do it all the way from. So it was really interesting. The journey itself, the learning journey, was very interesting, and one thing led to another, and it came just very smoothly at the end. It was, and as I'm telling you, at the end of this, it felt like management also. So how would you be convincing a stakeholder or a client that this training has succeeded, or recommend the training? I needed the analysis part, which was a very good, I enjoyed so much the classes that were oriented towards the data analysis and how to collect data from different sources. And
it's like a puzzle, really. You know, it's like
Mm-hmm.
you look at a puzzle, it's full of pieces all over the place. And as instructional designers, analyzing, talking with clients, things of that sort, doing those deep analysis, the data collection instruments, you start to take the pieces and they start to fit together, and you understand and you can see why they're fitting together through that kind of work that you're doing.
Exactly. It was, you know, we've had, I'm sure not just me, you too, and everyone, those aha moments where, oh, is this where it's supposed to be? So it was really a challenging, you know, journey, but a very curious one and very interesting one, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I'll tell you, one of the greatest things that I'm learning as a student of the program is that it puts on a different hat, a different lens. I look at the world totally differently now. Everything, when you really think about it, everything is touched by instructional design.
Yep.
So many different aspects of different professions. And my day-to-day job as a marketing person, as a podcaster here at UMBC, all of that requires the skill sets that are required with instructional design to be able to dig deeper, to find the answers, to figure out what you don't even know, like what problems exist. And unless you put that deep lens on, you start digging for information, you'd never even know they existed. So it's a really cool field to be in. Yeah.
And, you know, and assessing whatever learning experience that is done. How do we assess it? How do we ask for it if we need? How do we know if we really need it? Because we've been all on this place, and we've been working and seeing that we take many trainings that just go down the drain. Nobody benefits from them. We just take them because check marks, and that's it. So now I understand why. Why are those trainings going down the drain? What to do to avoid that? And so it's a lot of action, and it's you get a lot of time to self-reflect on what you're doing. The feedback from professors as well, some of them were really, really helpful.
You know, what's nice is you become a student of the universe, if you will. And it's fun when you've been a professional for however many years you've been a professional. It's kind of fun to put that student hat back on and to be able to go in there as an intern, to be able to use that experience as playing ground, the playing field, I should say, to be able to, well, make mistakes in a safe environment, really. And it's really a wonderful, wonderful benefit of the program. Now,
and actually learn new things.
So many new things, because you're actually working with a client and you're learning from that client.
And at least now I'm not, I know that there are so many technologies. I was so afraid of the design technologies. I believe Captivate, our stories with Captivate Learning. It's such a wonderful tool. I would have never dared to try, to be honest. It seemed so complicated at the beginning without enrollment and having, to pay this. I wouldn't have done it. At the end of the day, I take pride of it. And so in my interviews now, I just, hey, I do Captivate, and it's like the top of the line. So it does make a difference.
Absolutely. Now, what did you expect to get out of the program? Was there anything in particular that when you enrolled in it, you said, I really hope that this comes out of it? XYZ.
I wanted, to get into more education management roles and apply to them. And this is exactly where I am. This is the spot. I'm applying. I'm getting heard. I'm getting, because of this program. Yes. Oh. So everybody, when I have an interview, just tell me more about, and some of them asked me about not just the master degree. They just even tell me about the certificates. Those are graduate certificates, and having, 2 of them, you can accumulate them while you go. So CV is receiving credits as you go, as you build. I like them to the extent that I did. I'm taking the third one this fall. I said, why not? I finished everything. I just only have one class left to take it, so I'm gonna take it.
Excellent. For the
Actually, I'm
certificate.
still going.
For the certificate.
Yep.
Oh, so you have your master's, but you want to go back and get the certificate.
Because I already took 2, and I'm going to take the third one in technology because, it's linked with Captivate. So I want to finish it.
Yes. And I'm in that class right now. It's the third technology of the certificate, instructional technology certificate class. And it is fascinating. Oh my gosh, you put so much to use in that class. It's all about project management and teaches you the flow of the entire design process from soup to nuts. And you work within a team. And so you're learning from each other. And the product that you come up with at the end it's just amazing. It really is. It's a great experience. You're going to love that. You really are.
Yeah, I was actually supposed to take it this spring, but I had a lot of work and I needed a break after.
I understand. Absolutely. Because it does take time. Now, what did you learn from your fellow students in the program? Like anything like that you can say, like, if it wasn't for a certain, what did you learn from each other?
From you. You're one of them. You hit the nail. So one of them, but the podcast and how you do it and how you turn, because when you started this, we were together in the program. So, and I saw it evolve and how it is and how it's getting attraction and how it's helping. Actually, I even contacted you a couple of times to ask you about some of the tools to make the portfolio.
Yes.
It's a new thing for me. I haven't done a portfolio before. So I ended up, being exposed, thanks to your podcast, to several, initiated to several portfolio website and links that would which was great.
Well, it's really good. Portfolios are a king in this industry. I mean, having a portfolio and keeping it up to date and adding to it and just keeping it organized is so important, because when you do get those job opportunities that come to you, it's like, here's my portfolio, because they all want that. They want to see what you can do. And that's what this program is great for, is the fact that you have to build a portfolio as part of it to be able to graduate.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's a wonderful.
Also, there were a lot of insights from Greg and Chuck, to be honest. So Greg, and even in terms of, discussion when I was talking about the internships, and so he was just giving me advice of how to run things and how to, so those tips were really, really helpful. They, it's very good that you have someone that you're not intimidated by, and they just take a couple of fresh eyes and look at what you're doing and give you some honest advice, which was really something that I did benefit from.
That's great. Now, can you talk about your current role? Are you applying what you learned in the program to your current role?
Actually, today I'm doing something in my role right now, because I'm working as a senior academic advisor and academic director over here. My position was a sponsor, but I'm just designing an internship program, and this is exactly what I really. So I'm applying all what we learned on it. Plus, I'm just reviewing the whole website for my employer, and I just convinced him that to convert everything to micro-learning modules on all the data. And this is how we're doing. So that's where we are.
That's excellent. I think that's one of the biggest benefits too, being in grad school and working full-time. I personally have been able to bring what I'm learning in the program right to my day job as well. I mean, at UMBC, I work obviously at UMBC, and I've been creating training modules to help with our student interns, onboarding them, and working on virtual series to help bring people to do virtual events, doing training that way. And it's just really great to be able to take these skills and apply them. They're very applicable. And I'm really glad to hear that that is what your experience has been as well.
Absolutely. Even, I wasn't exposed to that, the idea of the attention, the span of attention for, the learner. And I was amazed to know that it's the same. But an undergrad student, as a graduate student, we all get bored after a certain point of time, and we do lose the interest. So if you don't grab it and you don't think of something, different and apply new methods and new techniques, well, everything will go down the drain again. So
Absolutely.
it's for me, I just discussed it with my employer and my boss, and he said, yeah, I love the idea. Let's do it. At least we'll get more, attention to what we're saying, and we'll get more feedback. And I believe that undergrads also, because our primary, client would be undergrad students. So their attention span is really.
Oh, yes. Now, so I want to ask you, how do you feel in terms of being a working professional and going to graduate school at the same time? How did you balance it all? Because I know that's a big concern for a lot of people who are considering enrolling in a graduate program. And it's a big consideration point, especially if you have children, you have pets at home, whatever it might be. How did you balance it all?
Well, I have all what you said.
All of the above.
Yeah, you can just cross-check everything. And I was also very intimidated by going back to school. I'm not young, and I felt, oh my God, what would happen if I'm in class with people who are just half my age? I don't know. How would I compete with anyone? And so the good advice I received from one of my friends who did her MBA just recently, she told me, just take the first semester, just take one class, get your, hands dirty at the beginning, just understand, get a feel of how it's going to look like, and then you decide.
Yes.
And I took that advice.
Great advice. That's what I did too. Yes.
And it's just kept rolling. When I took the first one, I put a lot of effort, to be honest. Maybe I overdid it, but it was, it was needed. I didn't know what would I do, and then it's just things kept progressing to the extent that I took the last 2 semesters full time. So I took 9 credits in spring and 9 credits in fall. Yes.
Wow, that's brave.
I did it.
And
yeah, that was to that. Well, in the fall, maybe it was a bit crazy. I shouldn't have done it, but I was. Having the virtue of working, being able to work from home.
Yes.
I didn't anticipate that in fall I would be returning to the office. Oh, this is what happened.
Oh no. Yeah, that's tough.
But I graduated, and with the full 4.0. So it was great.
You managed. You did it. You got through it. And I think that you made a really good point in that somebody who is wondering if this is really the path for them, take that one foundational course, the beginning course, because I did the same thing, Shawwa. I didn't know. I mean, I've been marketing the program for, at that point, 14 years. I should know the program in and out. But from a student perspective, I didn't. And I just said, well, we're during COVID. We're on lockdown. I got to do something because I have to challenge myself in some way. So I decided to enroll in that 602 class and the beginning class. And I wasn't sure. I was really afraid like you, because I'm in my 50s and I haven't been to school since 1997. So there were some concerns. And here's the thing, when you take a beginner class for the first time, you just get your feet wet. It allows you that opportunity to actually embrace the education, to embrace the journey, because you're not in over your head. You can learn with baby steps what you need to know. And it also gives you a good feel for, okay, is this really what I want to be spending the next 2 or 3 years of my life doing? And the answer, obviously, for both of us was yes. So glad to hear it was yes for you too.
Yeah.
Right?
So it was a big yes. Some of my classmates decided to do another path. So they decided to take the certificate first and then make a decision if they think they like it, which was also another option. For me, I felt that I have taken many graduate certificates. If I do it this time, it's going to be for the master.
Yes.
And I'm glad I did it.
And now look at you, you're going back to the certificate.
Yeah, I'm so happy I did. I'm so happy I did.
Yeah.
It's so refreshing to start learning again. and to feel this learner mindset
Yes.
is really refreshing.
And it's important, right, to always keep learning, to just be on a continual learning journey. It keeps us young and fresh, and it keeps life interesting too. It really does.
My boys, they were just looking at me, oh, Mom, we didn't know you were like this. My husband was just staring at me.
Good role model for the kids.
Yeah. They said, hey, come and look at my grades. See, so for you guys, when you get your seed,
they're like a 4.0. We got to get a 4.0.
Don't tell me it's hard. If I do it, you can do it.
I love it. Shawab, what would you say was the biggest takeaway that you had from learning, from studying at UMBC?
Well, challenging myself and doing it right. Everybody at a certain point of his life, we need that change. We need to, like the puzzle. You have a puzzle, and sometimes we go separate ways. This was I found my passion in instructional design, and I'm so happy I did. And now, like, I go to I teach some classes voluntarily, and I told them, hey guys, I'm gonna do it voluntarily for you because I do love it. I enjoy it, and it's a very good thing that you do something that you really enjoy, and you get help. The people also, the people in the program, Brené's was wonderful also with, whenever I send her an email, she's very prompt. Emailing Chuck, emailing Greg, they were all wonderful. They try to help you. So my biggest takeaway is I felt that this was a very, very positive experience for me. And it reflected on all aspects of my life. I feel refreshed, and I feel I want to start all over again, as if I just earned my undergrad and I would just want to boom it.
Why did you choose to study learning and performance technology at UMBC?
I'm so happy I did enroll in the learning and performance technology program at UMBC. It was such a nice journey. It was very fruitful. I did benefit a lot of it. Having a background of education and management, this program seems to be the perfect link that would put the pieces all together again and put me on track where I want to go on, education management or more post and leadership management. The program has a lot to offer. UMBC offered it online as well. Although I was very fearful at the beginning from the online aspect, because I haven't taken any, it seemed about right because it serves the professional community better. The classes were set up, even those who have synchronous periods, they do mind the time, the busy schedule working professionals have. So it was such a, looking at the journey, it was such an enjoyable journey. It was so helpful, and I feel very refreshed after finishing it. And you know what? I wasn't intimidated by by having my age in this in this program. We have a lot of there were a lot of professional people my age and younger as well, because there were a lot of fresh undergrad students, but the program seemed to be working just fine, and we collaborated just fine. And all the age did not really matter. What really mattered was the backgrounds and the diversity of the group participating, which was more enriching.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. What a great conversation this has been. I have thoroughly enjoyed talking with you. Once again, we were in class together, and I just missed that interaction. It was wonderful chatting with you and wonderful having you on the UMBC Mic'd Up podcast. Really appreciate your time and sharing your insights.
Thank you. The pleasure is all mine. Then if you need anything, just let me know.
Absolutely.
This program was very enlightening, so I really liked it.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of UMBC's Mic'd Up. We hope that you enjoyed it. If you'd like to learn more about UMBC's graduate program in learning and performance technology, please visit us at lapt.umbc.edu.